And the idea was that God was going to create a people, and that people was going to be used to reach all the nations of the earth. And even though that people would be hardened in part, and not all would believe, in the last days, the 144,000 and the great revival among the Jews, this would not be 144,000 Irish people, 144,000 Italians, 144,000 African Americans, 144,000 Africans. This would be 144,000 Jews. They're going to come in. Now, if you create a cult and you say, we are the Jews, and you go back to the three sons of Noah, and you come up with all kinds of racial theories, what you're doing is you're trying to put your racist notions in the Bible. God is not a respecter of persons. He doesn't love the Jewish people more than anybody else. He decided to use one nation to reach all the other nations, and that this one nation would finally turn to him in the last days en masse, and all Israel will be saved. And that's what the Bible says. So you can't come up with a theory or a theology that contradicts the Bible. And it's really sad when you walk down the streets in New York and you see these people in their little costumes, and they're spouting racist vitriol, and they're not preaching the gospel. They're not giving the good news. They're not showing God's love. But they are strutting around with a ill-founded pride, claiming that they are the true people of God. Friend, you need to know what the Bible says. The Bible says that God has a man named Abraham. Actually, when you study the Torah carefully, you find out that the whole Bible before Genesis chapter 12 is his genealogy, tracing him all the way back to Adam. And then this man is told that he will be the father of many nations, and through him will be this promised seed that will populate the Holy Land and then preach the gospel from Jerusalem to the ends of the earth. And this man was not an African. He was not a black man. He may have had dark complexion. I'm sure he wasn't as white as I am. No one could call him a cracker if you want to use that terminology. No, but don't try to get a racist idea that will give you a certain self-worth. Your self-worth is not in your pigment, friend. Amen. Your self-worth is in this, that you were created in God's image. Amen. And God has moved heaven and earth to save your soul. And he's used the Jewish people, and in particular one Jew, Yeshua ben David,